Watch a movie, get inspired, give back, help a charity. It's time for a movie karma watch party. Hi, everybody. My name is Jared Milrad, and welcome to another Movie Karma Watch Party. This is a series that we do with socially conscious filmmakers from around the world, many of whom we've come to know through our monthly online A Show for Change film festival, which celebrates socially conscious films and filmmakers in every corner of the globe. And today I'm really excited to welcome a special guest who directed an award-winning film through our festival. The film is called By the Litter, and we're going to watch it in just a moment. And the filmmaker is Flavia Reinhard. Flavia is here with us right now. So welcome, Flavia.
Hi. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. So we're going to start off by just sharing the film with all of you so you can watch it. It's about 5 minutes long, and then we'll do a Q&A with Flavia on the background. Great. Well, thank you so much again, Flavia, for sharing your film with us. We have a bunch of questions to get to today, but before we get to the rest of them, I wanted to start by just learning a little bit more about your background, how you became a filmmaker. It's always interesting us to hear how folks kind of got started, so I'd love to hear that from you.
I studied audiovisual media at the Zurich University of the Arts. I think it's a common thing maybe in the USA. It's kind of like making videos, also a bit of journalism. Sometimes it's also fiction. It's mostly for the web, for social media, so like a content creator actually. Yes, and this project was my bachelor thesis, and actually you can do whatever you want almost. So I decided to do a web series. You could also do like a social media campaign, but I always liked the filmmaking and also I really like the camera work.
Yeah, we thought your camera work was really fantastic, especially some of the underwater shots you were able to get. It was really neat. I'm curious, I want to hear all about that, but I'm curious what compelled you to make this particular project your thesis statement at Zurich University of the Arts.
It started with having no plan and no clue what to do. I actually started diving when I was young, in my youth, and I did my dive master last year. So if you're diving, you know that they teach you at the beginning in the courses also to be nice to the environment and to look after it. So it's normal that when you're diving that you collect the trash and the waste if you see some. And I was used to dive only in the oceans, and there it's normal, and everyone knows that there is too much plastic and waste. And I'm from Switzerland, and I was wondering, what about our Swiss lakes and rivers? Because everyone thinks that Switzerland is so clean.
Right.
So I was doing my research, and I found out that it is actually an issue, but there is not a lot of studies. There is not a lot of articles, of videos, not at all. So I decided I could put all my effort and time into something good to create awareness and hopefully to change people's mind and behavior. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. And it's definitely obviously an urgent need, both in terms of pollution, water pollution, climate change, all these related environmental challenges that the world is facing. I thought it was interesting that you brought up that, even you being from that part of the world didn't realize the extent of pollution. It's something I think as Americans, we might think about Switzerland as well. We might think that, everything's clean and kind of doing perfectly fine in that part of the world. What was that process like in terms of choosing your particular subject for the film, working with Sam in the film, and how did that come to be that sort of he was the focal point to tell that story?
I was just doing a lot of research, and I was thinking about who could be affected. And so I came to the fisherman, which I didn't, in the beginning, it was just like an idea. Maybe it would be good to tell a story like this. So I called him, and he was like, oh yes, this is such a good project, because it really is an issue, and this problem is really bothering him. So it was just the perfect to work with him. It was more like a documentary. And yes, I need to say that the waters in Switzerland are of course not as polluted as the oceans, but the main problem is that it's only the Swiss people who are creating this garbage, and it can only be from us, because the source is in Switzerland itself. It's not that a river is coming from France and from Germany and then it ends up in Switzerland. It's like, it's just our waste. And that's why we need to be more aware of it, because in the end, when it gets smaller and smaller and it becomes a microplastic, it also flows through rivers into the ocean.
Right. Right, and then it affects a broader range of,
Yes.
of countries and people and animals, of course. That is something that I know we're confronting here in the United States as well, in terms of our own responsibility and things we need to do to make the planet cleaner and safer and healthier. Do you feel like environmental filmmaking in particular is something that you're drawn to, that you want to continue in, or was this maybe just a one-off series that you did?
I really liked to work on that, and it's nice to, if you can afford it in kind of time, it's great if you can do something like that, to do something good. So it was a very good opportunity for me, because I had so much time to create something like that, because I was a student during my studies. But I would love to do something like this again if I get the chance to do so. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And what the, I guess, what do those challenges look like in Switzerland? Because we know in the United States, for independent filmmakers, it can be very, very difficult to get funding. We work a lot with underrepresented filmmakers, women, filmmakers of color, LGBTQ filmmakers. Are there funding mechanisms in place in Switzerland, or support mechanisms to help you make projects like this?
Yes, there are, but I didn't have one for this project. So it was a no or low budget production. But there are several organizations where you can ask for some support, for some financial support. But I think in the USA, it's more common to get the support.
Yeah.
I think it's harder in Switzerland.
Oh, interesting.
I think in general, in looking for an investment when you're producing a film, it can be pretty hard.
Interesting. Do you think that's because there's not enough? I mean, is it a question of resources, or just maybe people are not used to investing in film projects there of this type?
I think it's just a small Swiss market. Can you say that?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
we speak German. We don't even, we're not even speaking German. We're speaking Swiss German. So the target group is really small.
Right. That makes sense. So the audience is potentially small.
Yes, the audience is small.
I was going to ask you about the other episodes of By the Litter, and what that looks like. It sounded like Sam had a lot of insight into Switzerland, the environment, Switzerland, water pollution, the litter crisis and pollution crisis there. What do the other episodes focus on? Can you give us a little bit of sense of where they go?
Everything is about littering in the Swiss waters, but I have chosen 3 protagonists that the first episode is about someone who's affected by it. The fisherman is affected by it because the existence of his profession is in danger. The second episode is about a garbage diver. He's doing it non-profit in his leisure time because this profession doesn't exist as a paid job. And he stands for the person who is doing something actively against the problem, but the problem that already exists, the garbage in the water. And the third protagonist is a climate activist. And she's actually doing something already against the roots, or she's taking the problem by the roots. Can you say that like this?
Yeah, do you mean she's kind of breaking the rules, or is she trying to follow some of the order in place, or the laws in place?
She stands for solving the problem before it. She tries to not even produce waste.
Oh, interesting. So
she's living a zero waste lifestyle. Wow. So if you're not producing garbage, there's no garbage that can land in the nature.
Right.
So she stands for that. And also her episode is produced in Brazil. So for this, I was working with a cameraman in Brazil, and I was staying in Switzerland. I was just writing emails and Zooming and Skyping with him and her. And they are actually showing huge garbage mountains in the mangroves in Brazil.
Wow.
So it's like widening up the problem from Switzerland to the world.
Wow, so you kind of take the audience to a bigger, holistic world view.
Exactly.
Hey everybody, I'm Jared Milrad, the founder of Movie Karma. Thanks so much for stopping by our page. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this channel with your friends and family so we can continue to transform entertainment into action.